So hey guys, in today's lesson, we're going to be looking at parallel and perpendicular lines, identify when two lines are parallel or when they're perpendicular. So we have two lines here, y, 2y plus 4x equals 8 and y equals half x plus 3. And we're asked to test to see if they are parallel or perpendicular. And remember, it's all about the gradient. So the first thing we'll have to do is to change this into the equation of the straight line, which is y equals mx plus c. mx plus c. So what we're going to do, we're going to transpose. So we'd have had 2y is equals to 8 minus 4x. And because we want it in this form, we need to get rid of that 2. So we can divide this side by 2 and divide this side by 2. So we have y would be equals to 4 minus 2x. So the number with the x is our gradient. Over here we have our gradient for line 1 is minus 2. Now this line is already in the form y equals mx plus c. So the gradient over here is equals to a half. Now let's test. If are the gradients equal? If the gradient 1 is equal to gradient 2, then they are parallel. But 2 is not equals to minus 1. 2 minus 2 is not equals to a half. So we can see that these lines are not parallel. Now the next step is to multiply the gradients. And if we get minus 1, then we can say that they are perpendicular. So 2 times minus 2 times a half gives me minus 2 over 2, which is minus 1. Minus 2 over 2, which is minus 1. So we can say that these two lines, because we get negative 1, that these two lines are perpendicular, meaning that they're going to intersect. Right? Remember, you have to change it, everything in the form, y equals mx plus c. So the same thing for over here. We can see for this line, there's the second line here, we have our gradient is equals to 3. Over here, we're going to put it in the form y equals mx plus c. So it's going to be 2y is equals to 13 minus 6x. Because we're trying to isolate y, we divide everything by 2. So we end up with y is equals to 6.5 or 6.5. 6.5 minus 3. So let's look. Minus 3x. So our gradient over here, remember our gradient is the number with the x. So our gradient here is minus 3. So let's look. Is the gradient 1 equals to gradient 2? If it is, then it's parallel. We can see that minus 3 is not equals to 3. So these lines are not parallel. Now when we multiply them, do we get minus 1? Minus 3 times 3 gives us minus 9. So when we multiply the gradient of the first line and the gradient of the second line, and we would have gotten minus 1, then we could have said that the lines are perpendicular. But because we got minus 9, then it's not perpendicular. So which means that these two lines, they're neither parallel